What's up, y'all? Got our pieces off the parts car. Replaced the inner tie rod in. This is what your inner tie rod in looks like when you get it out. Of course, this is a used one, but we got this tool here from my buddies at Advanced Auto Parts. This is how to change out the inner tie rod in. You're going to need this tool right here. That's about the only way you can change it, unless you have the rack and pinion off on the bench. This tool here has got fittings in it. You find the fitting that you need that fits your tie rod in. Of course, on the car, or if you got a new one, you can go ahead and see which one fits it. You're going to put this up on in the car, and then you're going to slide this one over, lock it in, put your ratchet on the end, break it loose, and that's how you get it out. Alright, down here, kind of want to go ahead and get what kind of sockets you need out, just so, I mean, it makes it a little bit easier. We've got a 19mm socket for the tie rod in bolt down there. We've got a 19mm wrench for our jam nut on the tie rod in, and an adjustable wrench for the outer tie rod itself. I always break these loose before I take anything else loose, because it's kind of held steady in the car. So we'll go ahead, break this loose right here. That way you can spin off your outer tie rod in once you get it off. And since ours has been up so bad, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this part right here with the Sawzall, because we're not gonna be able to get the tool on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off, and then I'll take the outer tie rod end off. Alright, see here where we cut it off? Now we can get our tool on to the inner tie rod. We'll go ahead and zip this nut off real quick and pop this outer tie rod end off. Give it a good whack with the hammer to break it loose. Comes out. Now, you're gonna have to, I always count the threads on these, and when I say count the threads, I turn it and count how many times it takes, and then when I put that on the new inner tie rod in, it's pretty close to where it was. You really still need to get it lined up to make it perfect, but this will get you pretty close where you can drive it. So we got about 15 and a half right there. We'll take this nut off so we can put it on the new inner tie rod in. And as you can see, she needs to be replaced. Alright, next thing, we're going to get this boot off down here. This boot right here, we're going to take this off. Get your pliers, take that clamp off right there. Oops. We'll get in here. Get a longer pair of pliers real quick. You're going to have to get this band off that's in here on on the inside. Alright. That band right there is not reusable. We just put a zip tie back on it. If you wanted to use a hose clamp, you could. It's really not necessary, but just anything to hold that boot back on the back of the rack back there. We'll slide this off. All right. Now, let's get our tool here. Alright, like I said, we're going to put this on first. I'm going to put this piece on first. Make sure it's locked on there. Stick this piece on. We'll hold it tight on there. Now, check our breaker bar. Might want to get you something kind of long because these things can be pretty tight. Break it loose. And once you break it loose, they should spin right off for the most part. You might have to still use your ratchet, but as you can see, this one it's coming off pretty decent. Oh, got a tight spot there. There she is. Take the new one. Clean off those threads. Get it started in there. Make sure you do not cross thread it. Tool slip. But you want to make sure you get it good and tight. Tight as it was when you took it off. Alright. Let's put our boot back on. Alright. Put our clamp back on. Take our jam nut. Alright. Outer tie rod. $15.5. Take your castle nut. Put your castle nut back on. Tighten it up. And when you tighten it up, you gotta line up your hole for your cotter pin. I know there wasn't one in there when I took it off, but we're gonna put one back in it. Put our wrenches up here. Alright, after you tighten up your jam nut, you're going to go back up in here on the inside part of the boot and put your zip tie to hold the boot onto the rack and pinion. Then come down here, put your cotter pin in your castle nut, call it done, take it to the alignment shop and get it lined up. That's all there is to it. I mean, inner tie rod in, sounds hard, looks hard, but it's actually pretty easy. Like I say, go to advanced, get your tool so you can do the job right. And because other than that, if you don't have that tool, you're going to have to take the rack completely off the car. And on this car, you have to drop the whole cradle for the suspension and everything to get it out, and that's a pretty big job. So appreciate y'all watching. Pretty hot out here. We're going to call it a night. If you like everything, hit the like button, subscribe, leave us some comments, stuff. If you thought we should have showed something and we didn't show it, put it up there, or just leave us any kind of comment you want to. Appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good one.